Good evening. We meet tonight under a very dark cloud after having witnessed another tragic accident in Harare this week. I'm Guthrie Munyuki. Tonight on the program, we are joined by the Zimbabwe Republic Police National Spokesperson, Commissioner Ponyat. Commissioner Nyat, good evening.
Good evening, Guthrie.
Commissioner, we witnessed yet another bloody accident, which to so many people is mind-blowing. How it occurred to so many people, including me, doesn't make sense. How did this accident happen?
Firstly, Guthrie, this is quite sad to lose 17 people in such a manner. You know, considering that this is a road which has got an island. And this haulage truck was coming from Chitungwiza en route to Zambia carrying some potato crisps. And on approaching Unyani Bridge, the haulage truck just, went through the island. He hit a man and a woman who were walking on the island. They died on the spot. It then, as if that was not enough, it then went on to the other side of the island, of the road, and then it collided with a Nissan Caravan, which was coming from Harare CBD going to Chitungwiza. 15 people from the combi, including the driver and the conductor, died on the spot. You know, it's something which is said, like what I alluded to earlier on, something which cannot be fully explained, where breadwinners have been lost, future leaders have been lost. Remember, we also have got an university student who died. We also have got, a 3-year-old toddler who died. You see, and also a 7-year-old man also died in the accident. And what is not clear is whether the vehicle had a mechanical fault or not. Because there are people who are trying to come up with all sorts of insinuations. Some are saying the haulage truck had been affected by the conduct of a Honda Fit driver. But remember, this is a road just got an island. And then some are also saying there was a mechanical defect on the haulage truck. Then others are alleging that the driver was speeding. We are conducting investigations with a view of, comprehensively coming out with what actually happened. What happened to this haulage truck? And sadly, the driver sustained serious injuries, and as of yesterday, was admitted in hospital.
Mm-hmm. And you are yet to fully ascertain what really happened, because the driver is still in danger, and you haven't had a report from the Vehicle Examination Department, VED.
As we speak, Guthrie, there are processes underway so that we get to the bottom of the accident and tell Zimbabweans the correct position very soon. It's a matter of days, because as we speak, the forensic science, the police forensic science have also moved in. The VED have also moved in, so that we have a comprehensive report which can shed light as to what happened in this unfortunate incident or road traffic collision.
Mm-hmm. You have had so many campaigns, either as the Zimbabwe Republic Police or with other stakeholders, in trying to make sure that we mitigate the country's road carnage. But we continue to witness and experience horrific accidents on the streets, which begs the question, what do we need to do to ensure that we reduce the fatalities on the roads? Because the rates are just alarming.
Guthrie, it's disturbing, to be honest, to realize that the government is doing all it can in terms of road repairs. Yes, road repairs cannot be done or completed at once. It's a phase which is currently underway. And also the country is also adopting the electronic traffic management system, which is currently also underway. And we are also conducting regular awareness campaigns with the other stakeholders. We include the Trust Safety Council of Zimbabwe. But we still continue to record fatal road traffic accidents where people are dying. And in some instances, people are left disabled because of road accidents. The issue is the attitude of the drivers. I'm telling you, our drivers in Zimbabwe, they have to change their attitude. If we are to collectively talk about total road safety in the country, yes, the government can do what it can in terms of road safety. The police can do, yes, in terms of road safety, but the missing link are the drivers themselves. What role are they playing in terms of road safety? Is it just a matter of getting on the steering wheel and then somebody says I'm moving? No. We need a total change in the mindset of the drivers. The first thing which people should do when driving is to promote road safety. To realize that whatever they are doing, road safety should be number one on a driver's mind and on a driver's, driving trajectory. And you realize, Catherine, that the attitude should also go hand in hand with vehicle fitness. Like what we're discussing here, there are allegations, some are saying it was a mechanical fault. But remember, this was an international haulage truck, which was carrying goods earmarked for another country. So what also comes into play is how vehicle fitness is checked. Are vehicles being checked? Are they being serviced before they are allowed to be on the country's roads? And this cannot be done by the police. We also need other stakeholders to come on board. That's why I'm saying we now need a total change in mindset by drivers so that the issue of road safety is seriously considered. Because without that, I will tell you, we'll continue to record accidents. The police can effect arrests. The police can conduct awareness campaigns. The police can have the latest technology. But without the complement of the driver's attitude and the conduct, definitely we have a challenge.
Please join us in the second segment as we discuss the worsening road carnage in Zimbabwe, especially in the wake of this horrific accident which claimed the lives of 17 people in Harare this week. Welcome back. Tonight on the program, we are discussing road safety, particularly after the country witnessed another bloody accident in Harare at the beginning of this week, where 17 lives were claimed. It is a dark cloud that is hanging over our heads, and it is sad. And to discuss that with us tonight on the program is the Zimbabwe Public Police National Spokesperson, Commissioner Paul Nyati. Commissioner, you were talking about the issue of vehicle fitness. I know that in other countries, when they deal with haulage trucks and these heavy-duty trucks, they always have a weigh bridge. And at the weigh bridge, they look at the weight and other mechanical things to make sure that the vehicles are in sound check. But in Zimbabwe, I'm yet to see where we have a weigh bridge for these things. Do we have those things?
Yes, some areas have got weigh bridge, Guthrie, but it's something which was discussed and raised yesterday during the National Road Safety Indaba, which was organized by the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure Development, in terms of the effectiveness of weigh bridge, in terms of the functionality of weigh bridge. Definitely you are on spot that some haulage trucks, they also need to be checked in terms of the weight of their goods, in terms of the weight of their luggage. So that's why we're saying we now need all stakeholders to seriously prioritize the issue of road safety. And also the other thing, Guthrie, which has also come into focus because of this fatal road traffic accident in Chitungwisa, is the issue of the way public service vehicle operators are conducting business. Where you realize that instead of a combi carrying 10 people, the driver and the conductor, they carry 15. Instead of a combi carrying 15 people, they carry 22, if not more. And when we have collisions, when we have accidents where people are supposed to survive, then it's the opposite. People, they die because of the impact of the accident. Like in this case, the combi had 17 passengers, excluding the driver. And then we have said as the police, it is the duty of the operators to make sure that their employees, to make sure that the driver and the conductor, they stick to the stipulated procedures. If a combi has to carry 10 people as certified by the laws of the country, then that should be so. There should be no compromise. There should be no, contestations. And we are aware that even the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Transport has raised the issues. And some even said, the police, why are you not arresting people whom you find that in a combi there will be excess? And we also took note that, yes, the laws are there, but remember, it is the conductor and the driver who ask these people to board, who call upon these people to board, or if sometimes they're even forced. You see, so that's why we're saying the first thing is to take action on the drivers so that we don't continue to have mishaps which we are currently having as a country. But all in all, it is the duty of the operators. They must not prioritize money. They must prioritize the safety of the passengers, the safety of the people whom they will be carrying. Then money comes later.
Sure. I know that at the beginning of the year, you launched a 6-month blitz on unroadworthy vehicles, the vehicles that are also on the roads illegally. You also had a combined operation with the Zinara to check on the vehicles that were plying the roads, whether they were actually fully licensed. I think people would say it is ongoing. So I don't want to keep on talking about the roads. There are other issues as well, apart from the road traffic accident that we are witnessing at a very alarming rate. Going to the issue of the proliferation of illegal arms in the country, what progress have you made? Because knowing that you've got your yearly firearms amnesty, which is almost nearing.
Guthrie, the issue of firearms is a serious matter. It's a security concern which the Commissioner General of Police has always raised. And every year, through the SADC protocols, the government of Zimbabwe has been issuing out firearm amnesty, where the public, including companies who are in possession of firearms which are not regularized, firearms whose paperwork is not in order, to come forward and voluntarily surrender those firearms. But sadly, last year the response was not good. The previous year we were close to 600, but last year it was not pleasing because people do not come forward. But it is indicated by the way some armed robbery cases are occurring, where you find that we have firearms which are being used to rob people of their money in homes, in companies, along the streets, in vehicles. And then you ask yourself, where are these firearms coming from? Then you realize that some of these firearms are smuggled into the country. Some of them are taken away from security personnel at deployments and then used to commit crime. And then you also realize that some of them are firearms left behind by late family members. Because in terms of the Firearms Act, if a family member passes on, the family should surrender the firearm to the police so that the necessary paperwork is done. And remember, firearms are not inherited in such a manner that people they will think that my father, my mother, or my son has died. I'm just going to inherit the firearm. No, there are laws to be followed. There are issues to be observed. That's why we are calling upon the public to say, in whatever we are doing, if one is licensed to own or possess a firearm, they must stick to the tenets of that license. In the way a firearm certificate is expired, they must regularize it without delay. And above all, when people are using firearms, they must not abuse the firearms. We also have said instances where people abuse firearms just to threaten a colleague of a dispute, or people go to a fuel safe station to access fuel. Then they have a disagreement, somebody saying, why have you gone in front, or why have you parked the way you've done? So it just takes out the firearm and threatens another. This is not the way firearms should be used to Guthrie. So all what I'm saying is Zimbabweans should make sure that whatever firearm one is in possession of, that firearm is registered, that firearm is licensed.
All right. You said there were 600, positive responses to last year's amnesty. But I want to talk about that perhaps in the final segment so that, we get to know your estimations of the illegal firearms and the way you suspect they are. Please join us in the final segment as we bring to a close this week's program, where we have our guest tonight, the Zimbabwe Public Police National Spokesperson, Commissioner Paunyati. Welcome back to those who have stuck with us from the beginning and to those who are joining us towards the end of this week's program. We are with the Zimbabwe Public Police National Spokesperson, Commissioner Paunyati, where we've been discussing road safety and other critical issues that relate to policing. Before we ended the last segment, we were talking about the response to the annual firearms amnesty. And you said last year the response wasn't that particularly pleasing. And you were saying there were about 600 people who heeded the call to surrender the firearms. In your estimations, how many guns do you think are in the hands of wrong people?
A very difficult question in terms of profiling a response gathering. But I can say with certainty that, it's clear there are firearms out there because we see them when crimes are committed, where robbery cases are committed, and then you have reports of firearms being used. And then you realize that there are people who have passed on, the firearms have not been regularized, the firearms have not been surrendered to the police. You have companies which have closed, and the firearms which they were licensed for have not been surrendered. And then you also have even firearms being smuggled into the country. So all in all, we cannot give a specific number, but it is clear we have firearms out there which are being used to commit a crime. And then there's the issue of the amendment to the Firearms Act to capture emerging trends with regards to the use and misuse of firearms, including toy guns or replicas, is something which the Zimbabwe Public Police has raised to the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage, and which has been brought to the attention of the government, and which is being addressed, and being addressed in a manner which will ensure that anyone who misuses a firearm will certainly face the full wrath of the law. This is precisely the point. And also, to encourage people who have got firearms which are not licensed to regularize. And above all, to make sure that people who, when licensed, they don't abuse firearms to settle scores or to engage in other activities which they were not given permission to do through the use of firearms.
Mm-hmm. You talk of firearms. We exercise our minds on the record 4 million heist which occurred in Bulawayo, that EcoBank robbery. And we have seen in recent days that you've made some arrests. Are you on the path to dealing with this 4 million heist puzzle?
Yes, Gathari, I can say this with certainty, that the results speak for themselves. You've seen what has been done in the last 2 weeks, where the Zimbabwe Republic Police, through Interpol, through our colleagues on the region, we have been able to effect arrests in South Africa, in Botswana, and we now know with certainty that some of these criminals used the proceeds to acquire properties, to engage in business. And it's only a matter of time before all the culprits are brought to book. But we have not done that in isolation. The Zimbabwe Public Police has been able to do this because of the cooperation of Zimbabweans. And I want to thank Zimbabweans for giving the Zimbabwe Public Police information, which has assisted in establishing leads in this high-profile armed robbery case. And not only in that robbery case alone, including other robbery cases which have occurred throughout the country. The police has been able to unlock investigations because of the public. That's why we are saying we want the public to continue giving the police information. We want the public to continue cooperating so that we deal with the malady of crime, especially armed robbery cases, in a decisive manner. And I also want to caution companies. The challenge which you continue to have gathering is the leakage of information. The challenge which you continue to have gathering is the way transactions are conducted by companies and individuals. You will continue to keep license of money in homes, license of money in offices, in storeroom, and the information is given to criminals by people who are close to these companies, by people who are close to these individuals. And when they pounce, they indicate exactly the spot where one or a company is keeping money. Then you wonder what is happening. That's why we are saying we also want individuals, we also want companies to play their part in terms of safeguarding their investments, in terms of assisting the police when it comes to the issue of armed robbery cases.
So what I'm saying here are two issues. The issues of trust and confidentiality, and of course the issues of really screening people, because you cannot just have somebody whom you are not really clear of being part of you. Is that correct?
Definitely, Gathering. We have the Zimbabwe Public Police has got a facility where they can assist companies to vet employees, to profile employees, even security companies. We have always assisted them. But we're saying let us not sit on our laurels. The information must be given on a need-to-know basis. How a company transact, how a particular company transact, and how a company's money is banked or taken from a bank. It should not be the preserve of each and every employee to know, because this is compromising the way some of these robbery cases are committed. It clearly indicates that information has been given out, information is leaked.
Clearly, people, they feel safe when they bank their money in their own homes. And one of the arguments that have been put forward is that, the banks, they've got to do more to be able to lure back the traditional banker. In your conversations with the Bank Association of Zimbabwe, is it an issue that you've really raised about the banks being able to have that appeal again so that people can have trust and begin to bank with them again?
Yes, definitely, Gathering. We have engaged the bankers through their associations, And we've even engaged security companies where we are meeting regularly. Very soon we'll be having another round of engagement with the bankers associations, and then we'll also be having another engagement with the security companies just to review where we are now in terms of dealing with armed robbery cases, particularly where cash in transit is involved, and they also where people target financial institutions, like what happened in Mount Darwin recently. So there is a lot which can be done, but not only by the police, but by all stakeholders. All stakeholders should come on board to fight armed robbery cases, and also the misuse of firearms by criminal elements.
It's always a pleasure, Commissioner Nyate, having you on this program. I know there are times when you come to this program when you've got so much good things to talk about Zimbabweans. There are also times that we come to this program, like this week, where there's a lot of sadness that engulfs us as Zimbabweans. But be that as it may, we are always available to shed light on what will be happening in the country with regards to security matters. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kathy.
It is the attitude. Attitudes and attitude. It's got to be right for us to be able to claim our place in the sun among other nationalities when it comes to self-discipline and collective discipline. I'm Guthrie Munyuki. We'll meet next week. Good night.